The police chief in Grand Rapids, Michigan, called it one of the most horrific cases of child abuse I have ever seen.
Wow.
That's
Right.
how we're starting our deep dive today, looking into a truly devastating case. We're drawing from newly released interrogation video, police statements, and court records.
And our mission here really is to go beyond just the tragic facts. We want to unpack the mother's own, complex narrative, her explanations, her perspective, just as she presented them to investigators.
Right.
You're going to hear a really stark contrast, I think, between the horrific outcome for these children and the mother's deeply personal account of what she calls her hard life.
Okay, let's get into it then. So the scene was set on August 22nd. A
Yeah.
24-year-old Brooklyn Davis, she calls 911,
Mm-hmm.
and she reports something just, well, unimaginable. Her 18-month-old daughter, Ski Swope, was dead.
And the medical findings that came after that were just heartbreaking. Little Ski weighed a mere 13 pounds.
13 pounds at 18 months.
Exactly. Her eyes were sunken, her bones apparently invisible. It's awful. The medical examiner's conclusion was stark. Death due to starvation and malnutrition.
And it didn't stop there, did it? Because Ski had a twin brother.
That's right. He was also found malnourished, life-threatening condition, rushed straight to the hospital.
Thank goodness. There was also an older child.
Yeah, an 8-year-old son in the house. Fortunately, he was found to be okay. Child and Family Services took him into care immediately.
And the scene inside the house. What did the police find?
Oh, it was described as just shocking. Infested with bed bugs, apparently covered in feces. The police report just called it disgusting.
Just horrific.
Yeah, and that police chief's statement, again, calling it unconscionable abuse, it really tells you the severity of what they encountered.
So Brooklyn Davis, she's taken into custody for interrogation. What were her first concerns?
Well, this is quite telling, actually. Her very first question, almost as soon as she sat down, about her phone.
Her phone.
Her phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then she tried to find her lawyer's number, but she couldn't provide it. Just kept saying it was in my phone.
And critically, what wasn't she asking about?
Exactly. For over 48 minutes into that interview, there were no questions about her daughter who had died or her son who was critically ill in the hospital.
Wow.
Her first sort of declaration to the police almost right away was, I didn't do nothing intentionally.
I didn't do nothing intentionally. That sets a certain tone, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It framed how she seemed to view the whole situation from the outset.
So the detective interviewing her, how did they approach this?
From the records, it seems the detective was very patient but also persistent, really trying to understand what happened in that home, trying to piece together her version of events.
And what was her version? How did she start explaining things?
Well, she started talking about her own life, profound personal struggles, mental health issues. She talked about having her first son when she was just 16. Yeah. And feeling like he drove me crazy because he knew so many names, which is a bit of an odd detail. But she said it led her to keep him away from everyone.
So isolation.
Right. Isolating herself. She mentioned being homeless for a long time. It's a narrative you sometimes hear, deep personal trauma kind of layered over everything.
And what about her living situation more recently, before this happened?
She described this kind of decline.
Mm.
That her apartment was initially nice,
Yeah.
had a sectional, big bed, wall TVs.
Okay.
But then, her words, she went crazy. Left for Kentucky, smashed her TVs, sold everything. And when she came back, she said she just started slacking.
So it's lacking. Did she link that to anything specific, like depression?
She did mention depression, yeah.
Mm.
But she also said, I didn't know it was that bad.
Hmm.
And she pointed to a really significant turning point. Her baby daddy, as she called him, going to jail about 6 months before this.
Oh, okay.
That's when she says, quote, I fell, I just started slacking. Sleeping a lot. Admitted she wasn't taking care of herself.
Wow. Were there financial pressures too?
Definitely. She mentioned being $200 behind on rent, facing eviction. And she said she relied on her partner, the baby daddy, to handle all the money. So she could just, focus on the kids, or supposedly focus on the kids.
Right. This picture of dependency and then crisis when that support disappeared.
Exactly.
Did she talk about trying to get help for her mental health before all this?
She touched on it, said she tried around age 21, but claimed they just tried to give me medicine, which she couldn't find or didn't follow up on, so she stopped. And she mentioned a difficult relationship with her own mother, saying her mom put her out when she was 14. So there's this backdrop of instability.
So personal decline, instability. But then she also seemed to criticize the system itself.
She did, yeah. And this is quite pointed. She suggested there should be some kind of place where a mother with mental health issues could be monitored with her children.
With her
Yeah,
kids.
she felt separating them would make things worse. She actually said a setup like that would be perfect.
That's quite a statement given the circumstances.
It is, and she even claimed a detective had told her previously that she needed help, but then just, well, left her in the house.
Now, that's a serious claim. Did the records show anything about that? Did police corroborate that interaction?
Well, the police statements and court documents we reviewed, they don't specifically back up that claim from her perspective. They don't explicitly contradict it either in a way that clarifies it fully.
Yeah.
So it really stands as her perception, her part of the narrative she gave investigators.
Okay, so that's her perception. Now, let's get to the final weeks. How did she explain the children's severe decline?
Right, those critical last 2 weeks. Her explanation was direct.
Yeah.
She started drinking really bad.
Drinking.
Yeah. She said she never used to drink much, but then started taking, quote, one shot to get my day started.
Okay, and how did that contrast with, didn't she mention substance use before? Like marijuana?
She did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an interesting contrast she draws herself. She admitted she quit smoking weed because it made her lazier. Yeah. Her words, again, led to the kids not eating until noon because she was high sleep.
Okay.
But the drinking she claimed was different. She said it made her forget, made her feel better, put her in a better mood with her kids.
Better mood.
She even claimed it made her do more and interact more with them, which is a really striking justification.
That is incredibly striking. So she saw drinking as helpful somehow.
It seems that way, or at least that's how she framed it. She did admit it was helping me escape from my fucked up reality, but also that she knew it was just making it worse overall.
Right. It sounds like she was caught in that classic cycle.
Absolutely. And she kept circling back to her partner being in jail. She truly seemed to believe that if he'd been out, quote, it would have never happened because he made me happy.
So the detective is hearing all this. Did they challenge her directly on just letting things go?
They did. At one point, the detective asked her pretty bluntly if she just kind of let your whole life go.
And a response.
Defensive. She felt the police were trying to get me to say certain things and insisted she had already said it, pushing back.
Okay, so lots of explanation, justification, deflection.
Yeah.
But we still haven't gotten to the core issue.
Exactly. And then, after all that time, all those detours, nearly an hour.
48 minutes, you said?
Over 48 minutes, yeah. That's when the detective finally told her, laid out the stark reality she hadn't asked about.
What exactly did they say?
They told her daughter died due to lack of food, starvation, just like her twin brother who was barely alive.
And her reaction to that, finally hearing the direct cause of her daughter's death.
It wasn't what you might expect. No immediate tears or direct grief mentioned in the reports. Instead, it was resignation.
Resignation.
Yeah, she just said, take me to jail then, and I don't care no more.
Wow, take me to jail then.
Chilling, isn't it?
It really is. So what happened next, legally?
Well, she was arrested right then, charged with child abuse. And Michigan law specifically includes neglectful behavior under that umbrella.
Okay. And what's the current legal status? Where does the case stand now?
As of the latest records we could access, Brooklyn Davis pleaded not guilty. She's facing 2 charges of felony murder.
Okay, let's pause there. Felony murder, for people listening, that generally means a death occurred during another serious felony, right? Like child abuse here, even if she didn't specifically intend to kill.
That's exactly right. The underlying felony, the alleged child abuse leading to death, supports the murder charge. So 2 counts of felony murder and first-degree child abuse related to Ski's death.
And for the surviving twin.
She's also facing separate child abuse charges related to his condition.
And if she's found guilty on those felony murder charges.
The potential consequence is severe. Life in prison.
This deep dive, it really highlights such a profound tension, doesn't it? You have this mother's harrowing story, her account of struggle, depression, substance use.
Yeah, her whole narrative of a hard life.
Set against this backdrop of just unimaginable child neglect and ultimately starvation. It's just a devastating intersection.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think this case, especially hearing it framed through Brooklyn Davis's own words in that interrogation, it gives us such a stark look at these huge, complex issues. individual responsibility, severe mental health crises, the role of substance abuse.
And the societal safety nets.
Yeah,
Or maybe the lack of them.
exactly. The lack thereof for vulnerable families. So I guess the thought to leave people with is this. What does this deep dive reveal about how we as a society try to balance holding individuals accountable?
Which is crucial.
Absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
But how do we balance that with the desperate need for compassionate intervention? For real support, especially when severe mental health issues crash headlong into these profound parental duties, leading to such tragic, tragic outcomes.